In this video, we'll see how to configure the Librex capture for SharePoint Smart Connector. Librex is a capture tool that can be used to capture any source of content within your organization and to send them to SharePoint, classifying them automatically and, if required, creating the folders hierarchy. Librex can capture any source of content, whether it's scanned paper documents, capture faxes or emails, or capturing any other type of electronic documents that produce within your organization. To see all of those capture techniques, I invite you to watch the different videos on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/coriumsoft. In the current video, what we'll be looking at is how to configure this smart connector that takes the decision on how to structure my content within SharePoint. First thing I'll do is launch my SharePoint client to see the final state of the system after the documents were transferred from Librex. So in this case, I send my documents to the documents library, and I'm using fictive documents from a fictive university, the World University, for student folders. So you can see for each of those students, I created a folder, and within those folders, I classified the documents following a certain business logic. For example, in this case for the transcript, I defined to use the document type and then the student ID to name the documents. For those admission documents, I also created them under a folder which is called admission. So this logic is really configured within the connector by an administrator without having to involve a programmer to do some specific coding in Librex. What I'll now do is start my Librex client. In this case, I will log on manually, but I could also be logged on through an Active Directory for a single sign-on. I will launch my administration window to show you how we configure this smart connector. From my controllers part of the configuration, I will modify my SharePoint controller. We have different system configuration within the controller configuration. For example, is it started automatically or manually? Should I notify someone if I cannot send the document to SharePoint? So let's say you have a maintenance going on your SharePoint server and the document cannot be sent, then I can codify to automatically notify a group or a specific user. Also, I define a general connection. This is where I set up my user and password that will be used by Librex to send this configuration. But an important piece of this window is the synchronization tab, where I say how to translate my documents. You can see at the first level is my test site where I send those documents. I also have online documentation that can explain to you how to use those configuration parameters. Under this site document, I can see that I send a document to the documents list of SharePoint. So you can see all of my collections are here. So either collection of documents or all of those different pieces of destinations in SharePoint are selected here. Then you can see here is the student folders level. So this is really in SharePoint the initial level that corresponds to my documents folder. So the students folders here was created from this configuration. So you can see the title is students folder, which is the default location. If I go at the lower level, you can see that my student level, which is this level there, for each of the individual instances of those students, is configured. So the name of the document was created using a script, which is student ID, last name, and first name. Again, I have an online doc to show how to use those different properties and metadata. How can I use them to create this folder name? So I have all of this doc that can be used. I could also just plug in also here a script in Java that can be used to do some more advanced title creation. I can also set properties at the folders level to say, okay, I want to transfer the student ID. And I can also define a location. So I will explain in more details the location at the content level, at the document level. Just quickly, I also have a binding to this to the SharePoint binding, when I can bind to any type of folder within this this hierarchy there. Next level is under the student level, so I can have either an admission folder or directly the transcript. That's why I have my transcript on the root of the student folder, and then a registration and scholarship letter are placed under an admission subfolder. So this is really within one of those folders. I have my transcript there and my admission with those respective documents there. So if I go within one of those documents, same thing as at the folder level, I can define a title on this document. I can assign properties, and I could have a location. So let's say if I have a registration for the MBA, I could send them somewhere in the hierarchy. If it would be for the PhD, then it's somewhere else in the folders hierarchy. So I can really have advanced conditions there to see how this is configured. Also, I can do some format conversion to say, okay, I want to translate them to PDF/A and not only PDF. I could include XMP metadata within the file, or I could do any other type of format conversion. I could also send them into multiple formats within SharePoint. At the title level, I could also define my actions to say, okay, if this document already exists, what should I do? Should I create a new version? Should I create a distinct document using a counter or a sequence number to name the document? Or what should I do if there's no document with the same name? Should I just create the document or not? So that's really a generic overview of how I configure the SharePoint controller. And you can see that it's really from an administrator that this can be configured without having to involve a developer at this level of the configuration. Thank you.